Morning, it's 7 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, and we're going to talk about stepping up. So today could be a wildly productive day. In fact, literally a few days ago, I was thinking about how do we amp up the energy to have an even more productive day. So there's one thing where I talked about yesterday on Coffee with Shanda. I talked about planning your day and tracking your day in a way that I think is a little bit more unique. So instead of trying to find the money, why don't you track the activity you do in a day? So I talked about that yesterday. But today I want to talk about how do you amp up the energy so that you're ready to roll. So this is a big challenge because when you are going after something you really want, it is so normal to literally want to hold back. It's so normal to want to go to the fridge and eat, to go grocery shopping, to go to the gym, to go do everything but actually working towards something that you really want. So how do you amp up the energy so that you have a hugely productive day? So my intention on Coffee with Shanda today is that you crush it today in whatever. So if you're a yogi, that you zenly move through the day, but you're super on target and you're focused. And if you're like me and you just want to just say, let's go crush it, let's go crush it. I love feeling like this. You know, I remember in my 20s, I remember times in my life in my 20s where I was riddled with anxiety, where I remember being in a nail salon, getting a pedicure and calling my dad crying because I had to leave the actual chair, the pedicure chair. They'd just taken off my nail polish. They were about to do my toes, and I had to leave because the sounds around me were too much. And my nervous system was on such high gear. And honestly, when I look back at that point in time, nutritionally, I was a mess. I mean, I drank too. I drank way too much, and I love my wine. I still love my wine, but I drank way too much. I ran a nightclub at that time in Las Vegas. I basically ate nothing. Like I ate spinach salads with strawberries and chicken on it almost every day. And so I was probably definitely malnutritioned, and my nervous system went crazy. And I've talked on Coffee with Shanda about the importance of looking at your rhythm. I am a morning person. I am not a night person. At 8:30 last night, I was messaging my friend Maria, and I was like, could barely keep my eyes open. And so running a nightclub was out of my rhythm. The only reason why I share all of that piece with you is because I'm more enthusiastic today at 43 years old than I ever was at 24 and 25. I was abusing my body at that point in my life. So I share this with you because sometimes we can say like, we're getting older, I don't have the enthusiasm anymore, whatever that looks like for you. I don't care what's going on in your life. You can change it. And you can have a productive day today. All it takes is a little bit of clarity and focus on what it is that you want to go after. So now I will say, there's this piece that I think comes in as you become more successful, which is believing in yourself. And sometimes it's really hard to amp up the energy when you don't believe something's going to happen because it feels like a waste of time. And I just want to address this because I know somebody's listening right now that wants to feel amazing, wants to have a super powerful day, but at the end of the day, they can't get themselves there. And that is an attitude thing. That is an attitude thing. So the only comparison that I can say is I remember being that person, and that can easily happen to me today or you today. However, my attitude's not there anymore. And so it can't happen. And so it's an attitude thing. So, you know, you fail. My stepdad is a great entrepreneur. And, you know, I remember him talking to my husband, encouraging him with some of the things he was doing a few years ago. And he said, you know, I failed like 14 times big, you know, attorneys saying he needs to go into bankruptcy and all this stuff. And he's very proud of himself that he actually never took that route. And even if you've had bankruptcy or whatever, that's not the point. The point is that who are you being today, and are you proud of your attitude? If somebody was looking up to you right now, if there was, you know, someone important to you, a little girl, little boy, a dying parent, you know, somebody that was really important to you, if they were looking up to you today, Are you being in the attitude that you would want them to embrace to create something that they really love in their life? And I'll just kind of leave it there for a second. So I'm going to go back into my excited mode because it's where I love to live. And I'm really excited about what we're going to create today. So here's what I'm doing. And you could take this idea and you could do it today, or you could do it tomorrow with a group of people that you absolutely are excited to work with and you want to see rise with you. I'm a firm believer that if you rise on your own, meaning that if you work really hard on your own and you're in isolation, first of all, scripture says that's the place that the devil comes in, but also it gets really lonely there. And there's not a lot of power to you being able to afford, a private jet or a fancy car, or you're debt free and you can go on any vacation you want. Do you know how annoying it is to be able to go anywhere in the world you want first class and you don't have friends that could do that with you? It's annoying. So why not look around and just think right now for a second, like, who would you love to see succeed with you? Who do you love and who would you love to see succeed with you? And sometimes it's who do you even think you could influence to help them succeed with you? So that's like step number one. Here's the mechanism in which we play with today to be able to rock it out. So we have every Wednesday and Thursday, we have our sales team that comes into my house. And we love it at my house because we have so much fun. The energy goes through the roof and we compete against each other for fun, right? It's fun. Like, we also coach each other and help each other get better at whatever we do, because sometimes it's like you can see somebody that you could really help, but you can't land with them. Have you ever had that before, where it's like, you can help someone, but you can't get past their walls or their barriers to be able to help them? It's like, you can help them, but you can't land. Well, that's like discouraging, but don't let it be discouraging on you. Let it be discouraging on them, in the essence of you care so much about that individual that you're going to do whatever it takes to turn yourself inside out today to learn how to land with them. This is the type of stuff that we coach on throughout the day when we do these 2-day like sprints. So I got the idea to do this because I used to do endurance sports all the time. I'm not doing endurance sports right now, mainly because I keep miscarrying, or I've miscarried twice in the last year and a half. And I'm committed out of my mind. And I'm also not going to run my body to that level right now, right? But trust me, I can't wait to do it because my mind works better when I'm doing endurance sports, but I get so skinny. So with that being said, I don't even know why I brought that in. Oh, because I got these 2-day, like, hype up the energy, get excited, and their sprints. I got them from my endurance training. And endurance training, even in Orange Theory yesterday, I was in Orange Theory yesterday, and we did an endurance session. And basically for almost 30 minutes, we ran at either a push pace or a base pace. And it was amazing to me when I was done how far I had gone when I went from pushing and letting go, pushing and letting go, pushing and letting go. It doesn't mean that you go back to a recovery walk. Like, it's not like you sprint and then you go back to, well, let's like eat some, bonbons and some, chocolate bars. And it's like, no, you don't get to eat the chocolate bars like on like obsession if you're, just because you sprinted. And I see this with entrepreneurs all the time. You get a lift and then you let go. And instead of taking that lift in your business and going all the way over the top, you go out for dinner that night and you have a couple glasses of wine and then you feel foggy the next day. And so we do these crazy things that completely sabotage us having these tipping points. So how do you do this? Okay, so what we're doing 2 days a week is, and now we're inviting friends in. So now we have friends coming in with us, which is so cool because they want to be in the energy of creating amazing results. And I'm talking friends who are like powerhouses, pro athletes. Like, we have like not, these are not weak people in their mind, right? So why do we do these things? Because left alone, we don't typically produce what we're capable of. And at the end of the day, I just think, for God's sakes, We have been given this life. Why would you not want to see how great of a mom or dad you can be, how great of a wife or husband you can be, how great of a business owner you could be, how big you can grow it, and how good you can be at what it is that you say? Like, why not be the top in your industry? I mean, it's only going to take you a few years if you put your head down. Like, why not? Like, if it takes you 5 years to be at the top of your industry, why not? Right? Why not? So look at these, look at like what we're doing and think like, what is it that you could step up to today? What is it that you could step up to today? Right? And who can you work with? Even if you live in the middle of nowhere and nobody lives around you, stop allowing that to be your reason to not succeed. Literally get on Zoom, get on Skype, get a bunch of people to work with you. 3, 4 people to work with you. But this is not a complaining day. This is not like, oh shit, I hit the wall. This is like, okay, here's what the sprint looks like. For 15 minutes, I'm going to smile and dial. For 15 minutes, I'm going to write an email and send it out. Even if like normally it takes me 2 hours. For 15 minutes, you're going to produce something in a sprint. There's a power to this. You guys, at my zone event, some years I've sent people, I've taught them sales, and then I've sent them out of the room to go sell. And I've literally given them 20 minutes. And like, you would be shocked what happens at the mic. Literally people stand up at the mic. When I put them in a zone to succeed, all of a sudden people walk in and say, I just made a $10,000 sale. I never even knew that was possible. Like crazy stuff happens when you put yourself in an environment to succeed. You can always tell what's happening with your kids. They're telling you what their friends are doing. Don't think for one moment that they're not tapping into that environment. You see, we are the environment that we spend time in. And so if you could change your environment for a couple days a week, even one day a week, imagine what you could create. Imagine what you can create. In our leadership program, we have these 2-day meetings, and it's insane what people create in these 2 days. But then if you don't recreate that in your life, then what happens is you're not mastering your environment and allowing your environment to support you. So I'm going to encourage you to set up a day, and set up a day today, tomorrow. I mean, you could do it today. You really could. You could find a way to do it today if it was most important to you. Here's what I know for sure. You'll never get out of investing for higher education, meaning that when you're ready, you'll find the money to invest in something. I have found that about myself, and I've found it about my clients. I've seen people go, I can't afford you. And then a year later, come to an event and say, okay, I couldn't afford you last year, and now nothing moved. And so now all of a sudden they can afford me, right? It's like, this is the same for you. So I rest in my heart. I have peace in my heart. And this is just what I do with myself. If I can't figure something out, then I know there's a part of me that's not ready, and I have to look inside. And it's not that I'm using not ready as an excuse to not succeed. I actually look inside and I look for the belief in there that doesn't believe it will happen. And as soon as I find that, I overpower it. This is what I do. I overpower it with all the things that I've been great at, that I've created results in. I invite you to steal this, because you're the only reason why you can't find the money for something. Because, by the way, my goals are bigger than my resources still today, same as they were when I was totally broke, right? And it's the same. I found that same result in my relationship. When you don't believe the relationship can work, where is that in there? Find it, pull it out, overpower it, overpower it with positivity, with belief, overpower it. And then the relationship starts to work, right? And it's got some bumpiness as it's coming out of the pattern. And then all of a sudden you're up here and you're like, wow, can't believe I almost gave up on that. And I think about the Julie Surratts, the Amy Yamadas, who just crossed 1 million, the Jessica Beebes who did my PACE program and did over $200,000 from startup to finish in a year. Ariella, who did the same thing as Jessica Beebe, even higher results. Rachel, who I just spent 2 hours with yesterday and found $700,000 in her business that's already there. She doesn't even have to do anything else. It's already there. I look at these things and I'm like, why wouldn't somebody pay for that access? Well, because they don't believe. Why wouldn't I pay for that access in something I wanted to create? Because there's something I don't believe. So I just go in there. Right? So what is it time? What is it time for you to step up to? What is it? You know what it is. What is it time for you to step up to right now? What is that? And then what if you actually stepped up to it today or tomorrow? Today or tomorrow. Do not do it alone, because you will not succeed as well by yourself. Your self-discipline is reliant on your feelings a lot of the time, unless you're super pro in your mind, right? So who can you bring with you to do sprints throughout a day and literally break up, plan to succeed and break up? How many sprints are you going to do in a day? And what is the intention? Go back and listen to Coffee with Shanda yesterday about intention with alignment. Okay. Listen to Coffee with Shanda yesterday. If you're on Instagram, you're going to have to go to my Facebook page. Okay. But go watch Coffee with Shanda yesterday to make sure that the day is set up where your activities are tracking in your sprints to hit the intention you want to create. So in other words, if you say you want to grow, I'll just put it into two personal things. One of the things that I wanted to grow was my quality of time with my son, right? That was really important to me. And so I have never been busier, and I can honestly say at the same time, never been happier or had more energy. And this is not me being fluffy online. I promise you, my hand on a Bible, this is all true behind when I turn off the camera. Okay. So now I'm not bragging. I'm saying, like, how do I unpack on how I got there? You look at what's the number one priority. You track it, like I taught on Coffee with Shanda yesterday, and then you set up days like I'm talking about today to create these sprints. But the sprints have got to be on the right intention. So one of the things that I do with my son, if I felt I could do this in a sprint, but going back from yesterday tracking, I track quality time with my son. So I picked him up yesterday from school, took him to swim class, which really isn't quality time other than he just loves that I'm there. And then I took him and I had his bike in the back of my car, and I took him from swim to the park to ride his bike. We tried to go to the coast, but it was getting a little dark. So we rode it at the park, and then I played on the swing with him, and it was all quality time. I left my phone in the car so that I could not touch my phone at all. Now, if you want to grow your money and you want to take that, or hold on, let's go back to another personal thing. Say you took your relationship, or you took your parenting, or you took a friendship that you really haven't spent a lot of time with. And what if you looked at how do you set up a day to create these sprints in a day to create a closer relationship with them? I mean, in a day, even if you just did 3 hours or 2 hours, how many 15-minute sprints can you get in 2 hours? You could write a letter to them in one 15-minute sprint. You could call them in one 15-minute sprint. You could go online and buy them a special little gift on a 15-minute sprint. Like, you could actually repair an entire relationship with this structure. So now let's take it to business, and then I'll end on this. If you want to make more money, do 15-minute selling sprints and make a commitment that every single 15-minute sprint, you are doing something that immediately connects with making money, not setting up a website, okay? Something that immediately connects with money. Do it with friends. Do it with people who work for you in your company. If you've got employees or sales teams or anything like that, do it with other people, and you will have a lot more fun. You could even do friendly little bets in the 15 minutes and see who can actually create their intention for the day, or who could create the intention for the next 15-minute sprint. Whoever creates the intention gets a certain reward. I mean, you could gamify this whole thing and have so much fun doing it. But what I promise you is, by the end of a day like that, you will have more bandwidth to be present with everybody around you, because you will feel like you optimized your life. You will. You know, when you actually operate and work like that, by the time you get to the end of the day, you can stop, because you know that you actually created what you were capable of creating. And then you'll even see things that you could have done even better, and then do it on the next sprint day. So I hope that this was valuable for you. Please let me know if it was. And here's what I want to ask you right now. What are you stepping up to today? I want you to comment right now. What are you stepping up to today? What is the thing you're going to step up to today? Karen, 50-minute chunks is so doable. Yes. Come on, I want to hear from you guys. What are you stepping up to today? Yes, it's true. You uplift other people with your energy. It's a huge thing. All right, who are you stepping up to today? Amy Amada, what are you stepping up to today? Awesome. Okay, you guys, this is good. What are you specifically stepping up to today? What do you want to create? Like, even when I'm saying this, nobody's really saying, okay, so Greg, awesome, closing 2 new deals today. Perfect. Put your ass on the line for that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you do 50-minute sprints, you're going to hit that. I mean, you might surprise yourself and do 4, right? Amy, stepping up to being in completion energy for prepping for your retreats, flying out Friday. Awesome. So do 15-minute sprints, Amy. Like, every 15 minutes, take a break and just walk around for a second. And then, like, maybe set a timer for like 2 minutes and walk around. Maybe do a prayer, maybe do a gratitude thing. Like, really keep your energy growing. And who else, Amy, can you do this with throughout the day? Wendy, value with my husband alone. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, imagine if you guys every 15 minutes did something together. Like, maybe it's like, maybe you could do a 15-minute walk. Maybe you could do 15 minutes where you wrote each other love letters. Maybe I mean, it could be a 15-minute coffee break. I mean, you could do some cool things. Maybe you do, get creative. It's so fun. Okay, very valuable. Calling, not emailing my experts to being on the show. Yes, Marty, bring connection in. Instagram, getting 3 people to host events in my next month of business. Awesome. Stepping into increasing knowledgeable base and health. What does that mean? What does stepping into that mean? Like, what are the specific things that you can do in your 15-minute sprints? The 15-minute sprints are the activity sprints. It's where you actually, you literally put these things into action. And if 15 minutes isn't working for you, stretch it to 20. Okay, so 15 minutes isn't working for you, like, especially with like maybe a relationship thing, stretch it to 20. Okay, awesome. Okay, you guys, this is great. This is fantastic. Cindy, 15-minute sprints, 2 new VIP enrollments today. Awesome. Fantastic. Stepping up with my higher self. Ashley, what does that mean? Okay, so if you're stepping up with your higher self, what can you do in the 15-minute sprints? Okay, what does that mean? Maybe you do 2 15-minute sprints in an hour. So it ends up being 30 minutes of your day where you stop and you pray for those 15 minutes. I mean, I can only, we have a client, Julie Surratt, who literally had her biggest month ever. I was talking about this yesterday, had her biggest month ever. And 50% of her last month was volunteering in our leadership program. 50%. Okay? I tell people this stuff all the time and they just don't believe me. They get so caught up in busy energy, and busy energy just keeps growing, you guys. I mean, so then what happens is your relationships fall apart. All these things fall apart. So if you can chunk things down like this and you have these activity bursts, not only do you get a better result in a specific area, but a lot of the things on your to-do list that you have on your to-do list, they stop being on your to-do list, not because you actually got them accomplished, but because you're making so much money now that you're able to hire other people to do some of the things on your to-do list. I challenge you to do a to-do list and outsource 50% of it. Like, start learning that. Okay, that's all leadership. Okay, I will end on that. I will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on Coffee with Shanda. I would love to hear throughout the day how, I'll come back to this thread on Facebook, Instagram. Maybe, on Instagram, I'll do a productivity post today. And you can go back to the post and you can let me know how it's going. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than being generous and coming back and giving and letting us all know how you're doing. All right, you guys. So Instagram, I'll do a post in the next hour. And then Facebook, I would love to see you guys. YouTube, I'd love to see you guys coming back after doing this or throughout doing this and sharing, giving the energy forward on what's working, what you're creating. This is how a community, by the way, rises together. Instead of just taking this information and going, I got mine, come back and give on the comment threads. Come back and give. I'm telling you, it changes the whole fun factor. It also creates quantum leaps in the universe, on the planet, with people's minds and their hearts. Be a part of that and come back and comment later. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.